Well, Rachel, I am so excited to get to talk with you. You have had quite a whirlwind couple months. And I just want to start with like, how has it been?
Surreal, I think, is the best word for it. It's been amazing, obviously. So many things have happened, things I didn't even dare to dream of have happened in the last few weeks, and so quickly. And it has been a lot to process, but I'm extremely grateful.
You have dedicated your life to writing books. And I think writing is such a solitary experience. You know, it's you and your pen and your ideas, your imagination, your creativity, your characters. And then something like this happens where your book is adapted or your books are adapted, brought to the world. And I can't think of an adaptation of late that has been so like, I was going to say like wildfire, like, just taken off in such a way where there's so much conversation. And when we had Connor here, we had to have a closed set because everybody was freaking out. Like it was like Beatles mania. So as a writer who's used to kind of somewhat of a solitary experience, how has that felt for you?
It's true. Writing is typically a very lonely experience. And then when people do read your books, you're not there for that part. It's not the same as being like in a band on a stage or something like that. So you don't get that love and feedback right away. But I would get it when I would go to do author events. But now it's on a totally different scale where
Mm-hmm.
like everyone online is talking about my characters, my story, which is I don't know, it still doesn't feel real. There's people going to raves that are themed for my story and characters. That doesn't seem possible, but yeah, it's been wild. But I think author fame is a lot more chill than actor fame. So
Yes.
I can still go out and do stuff, and it's fine. I get recognized, but it's in a very a lovely and polite and usually brief way, that's very respectful. So my daily life is not too
Been
different, but
changed. Let's talk about when you first started writing the series of books. You have been a longtime hockey fan. You played it some when you were young. Would have played it more if you probably could have if there were more female teams. You're an avid, fan of both women's hockey and men's. When you started writing these romances, I read somewhere you were like, not you weren't reluctant. You knew you had something, but you were sort of reluctant to share them because of others' reactions.
yeah, I mean, first of all, it was just my own reluctance to share any kind of fictional writing that I wrote. That was very scary for me. Very felt very vulnerable to share
Mm-hmm.
that. And then I think hockey is such it's such an important thing up here in Canada.
Yeah.
And so the idea of writing these kinds of stories felt like a little bit um rebellious, maybe. And then, on top of that, obviously these books are sexually explicit, and
Mm-hmm.
that is another layer of vulnerability that you're sharing with people. So it's all quite scary, but and I didn't want people to think I was making fun of hockey or anything like that, or like I had things to say about hockey culture, but it really does come from a pure love of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was scary getting it out there, but it feels better now that everybody seems to be openly loving it.
Mm-hmm. And when you shared it with, peers in your writing group as you were writing, some of them even dismissed the ideas. And like, so how, I mean, I think it's so important for women in particular. I talk to my daughters all the time about listening to their intuition and doing what feels right. And you knew you had something. Obviously, you wouldn't be writing in this universe if you didn't. So how does it feel now that you know that there's this love of these characters, of all of these characters?
It's very encouraging. I feel like the kind of the way that the show especially has been embraced, and now the books, gives me a lot of hope. Honestly, I thought this sort of story would have a pretty niche audience. So seeing the way that that people have embraced it and are excited about it has made me feel really good and hopeful about the world. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's an unlikely smash hit. So I'm just, yeah, it's a great feeling to know that people are so openly embracing this story. You know, because it's a queer romance, and it's you know, that's something that's lovely to see a lot of support for right now.
Yeah, definitely. There's an openness. Are there people, like groups of people that you're surprised have loved it so much or resonated with it so much? Have people come up to you and said things that have given you hope?
Yeah, I mean, I've had people tell me, and I've gotten lots of emails from people that you know, some of them used to play hockey and maybe felt seen by these stories, but there were other people that actually found it maybe more encouraging. I saw emails from people that made them rethink the way that they'd behaved when they'd played hockey, and it made them rethink the way that they might behave now that they have kids themselves playing
Oh,
hockey.
wow.
And things like that really make me happy to see, because yeah, that is really the message I'm hoping to get to people.
Which is that to have an openness, right? That a love
Yeah,
looks like a lot of different things.
yeah, be kind and let you know, let people be themselves, give them the space to feel comfortable being themselves, and
Hmm.
that includes within hypermasculine places like the hockey world.
Yeah, the hockey rink. I love that. So let's talk about you. Were diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and you spoke out about it, which I think is super, super brave. That happened sort of right before you got interest in adapting your first two books. Talk about that time in your life, and has that? And I read somewhere that that even like the show could make it possible to get treatment that you might not have otherwise been able to get.
Yeah, yeah, a couple of years ago I was diagnosed. Well, it was August of 2023, so a little more than that
Hmm.
now. But yeah, it was not a surprise when I was diagnosed, because Parkinson's a very, very visible disease. It's
Hmm.
The symptoms are quite obvious. So
Hmm.
I knew it was coming, but getting the news is never a great feeling. But yeah, it was just a few days later that Jacob Tierney reached out to me and asked about adapting the books for film. So that was nice. It was nice timing for that news, because it gave me something positive to focus on for the next couple of years. And yeah, I was on a long waiting list to see a Parkinson's specialist. I
Hmm.
had a neurologist, but that was not her specialty. But um, now I'm with a neurologist who does specialize in Parkinson's disease and other movement disorders. So that's been huge, and that came from, yeah, you know, a network of people learning that you know, I have this, and that I needed, you know, a specialist. But yeah, as far as, you know, I'm not getting any like kind of
No,
special care. I just have a doctor who is a specialist now, which
you
is
just
going to make
needed
a
to
big
find a
difference.
doctor. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So it's great. Basically, she said I'm doing great and I should just keep doing what I'm doing. So that was great news to hear.
Well, and that's good for all of your fans who love your work. We want more of it, and we know more is coming, which we're going to get to. But I loved how you and Jacob, and I hope this is real, met. He slid into your DMs. Is that
Yeah,
right? And was like,
that's right.
"Hey, has anybody ever adapted your, or optioned your work to adapt?" And I love like. I mean, we know some good things can happen in the DMs, and I just loved that so much. Talk about what went through your mind when you got that message.
Um, I mean, you know, at first you have to be like, is this real?
Yeah.
But I mean, that blue check mark was there. So I
Yeah, you were like,
like,
he's verified.
yeah, it's got to be real. I mean, I was really excited, but I was trying really hard not to get my hopes up too much, because I know that these things don't always work out. But um, yeah, when I talked to him a couple days later, I did get very excited, because what he described was so amazing, and is exactly the show that everybody watched.
Yeah.
So it was hard not to get very, very excited. So
Well,
I
and
did.
he was the perfect person to adapt it. I think this could be a case study. I mean, I work a little bit in production, a case study for how to make a beautiful show that means something, that has the romance that everybody wants. But they did it in a beautiful, budgeted way, and it's still, you would never know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think respect the intellectual property that you're adapting is the huge message here.
Yes,
He came to it as a fan, which makes a big difference.
which matters.
Yeah, it matters. And he wrote the scripts and he directed it and was one of the producers. And that, having all of that, and then on top of it, just he put together a great team to make the show. The show, like, everybody involved was great. Obviously, the actors are fantastic. It just all really came together to make like this really beautiful show, and I'm really, really grateful, and I'm just so happy that Jacob reached out to me first.
Yes,
Because I don't think anybody else could have made it this well at all.
no, definitely not. Was beautiful. I, by the way, binged it like the rest of the world. Let's talk about the team he put together. Starting with Connor. With all of the actors who are just brilliant in this. What did you know, like, initially, that they were going to be perfect for these characters, whom you know pretty well after writing for over many, many years?
I mean, it was hard to imagine anybody would be perfect. I definitely went into it thinking like, well, let's manage your expectations, because obviously they're not going to find actors who are going to like perfectly bring these characters to life. I was wrong. Like, they did. And I knew, when I visited the set the first time and I saw them, performing these characters, I was just blown away. Like, it was the characters. It was the characters who were in my head were now, in front of me, saying things and doing things. So it was an amazing feeling.
It was pretty amazing. Connor, I'm from a small town in Texas where Connor is also from, and I could not believe it because, his Russian accent is perfect. He speaks Russian, which is remarkable. I mean, what he had to do to get prepared for this role is really, really impressive. Were you kind of shocked by how amazing? I mean, both of them are amazing. All of them are amazing, but
I'm still shocked. That's that on top of everything else was, I mean, acting at all amazes me. Like, the things that actors can do, like cry on command. It's like they may as well turn invisible or start flying. Like, it's impossible to me. So to do all of that with a perfect Russian accent, sometimes while speaking Russian, a language you just learned. That to me is amazing. I'm in awe.
He said in an interview that you all became close friends. How, first of all, I mean, tell me about what you feel about both of those guys, but also how involved were you with the development of this?
I wasn't super involved in the development of the show at all. I was, I don't know anything about filmmaking, so I was just kind of kept in the loop. I read the scripts. I got to I watched rough edits of the episode, visited the set, was told about the casting decisions. I wasn't involved in the casting decisions, but they'd be like, this is the guy we're thinking for this character, kind of thing. It was after filming, like, we started chatting in a group chat and stuff like that, and individually over the summer. I think the three of us were in a really unique position compared to everybody else, because it was like definitely our lives were probably about to change the most. At least that's how it felt at the time. Especially as we got closer and closer to the show and more excitement was building. It was like, the three of us were about to level up in a big way, and we kind of felt it. I don't think any of us thought it was going to level up the way it did.
Yeah.
But
did you have that conversation? Did y'all have that conversation where you were like, wait, this may change our lives?
Oh, yeah, I think a little bit. And I mean, you have to as you see it coming. And I really loved getting to know those guys a bit over the summer. And it's been, we've all been very busy now, but I think it's still nice to check in with them and just remember in the middle of all of this, we're the same three people.
Exactly.
Everything feels very heightened and surreal right now, but but
But
still
you
very
can
real people in it.
and you hope you can enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's important to take. I mean, I think again, we've been so busy. Like I feel like just lately I've been able to kind of take a breath and take it
Hmm.
in, um, because it's just been so much. But I'm definitely enjoying it. It's just like it's almost like too much to process. Like every day there's
Yes.
like a new thing that I cannot believe. And yeah, it's just that's a challenge, but not a bad challenge.
Well, one of the things that I'm sure you were jumping for joy over, and all of your fans were, both of the book and the series, is that you guys got a season 2,
Hmm.
which we're all. I mean, I had they left that cottage, and that would have been it. I might have cried, and it could have been like that story was contained. So what? And you kind of hinted at the fact that there might be another romance intertwined, and I know based on your books with theirs. So, what can you tell us, if anything?
Not much right now because not much has been officially decided, but I think Jacob's been pretty open about how the long game will be the focus. That's the sixth book in the series and the second Ilya and Shane book. If you've read the series, you'll know that the book before that, Role Model,
Mm-hmm.
is very intertwined into that story. They happen at the same time, same team, um, and so yeah, the stories weave together. So it'd be very difficult to just do the long game without also doing Role Model.
Mm-hmm.
So I would give you that as a hint as
Mm-hmm.
to what
Okay.
might happen. So I would say I'd be surprised if we don't see both of those stories together
So
in season two.
meaning that there will be another romance.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think I think so.
While this is all going on, you're also writing another book. You're in the
Yeah, there's
midst of
also that.
writing. And
Yeah, great
everybody's
timing.
that feels like a lot. How are you prioritizing everything right now?
It is a lot. It's been very challenging. When my original plan for this, this writing deadline, all of that, did not include this amount of hype around the show, I guess. I thought
Mm-hmm.
the episodes would air and it would be nice, and then it would be a pretty quiet January, February, and I would just keep writing, and it would be nice because I'd be thinking a lot about the characters because, after the show, and
Yeah.
um, I am thinking a lot about the characters. That part is true. I'm not allowed to forget about those characters
They're
for five
everywhere.
seconds. No,
Yeah.
everybody's thinking about those characters.
Totally.
But it did go very quickly from, a book I knew that people, my fans were anticipating, would be excited about, because I did keep it a secret until
Mm-hmm.
January. Had been writing it for most of last year, and then when it got announced, people were excited, but by the time it got announced, there were so many more fans of Ilya and Shane because of the show
Mm-hmm.
that now it's like it definitely feels on a whole different level. Like I think this is very rare air, I think,
Yeah.
for authors to have to write characters that people care this much about what happens
No,
to
I know
them.
somebody this morning basically compared your plight of writing Unrivaled to like George Martin. I was like,
Yeah, I
wow.
think about that guy a lot. I should call him.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yep.
And it's true, and probably unexpectedly so. I mean, one of the things that I've loved for you, because I'm sort of always book first, author first, even though I loved this show, is that now you have so many people that maybe came to it by the medium of television and now are going to the bookstore and reading all of your books. Like they've hit the New York Times seller list last month. Like
Hmm.
all of these things that probably feel like a beautiful blessing as somebody that loves to write.
Yeah, and I think I'm very lucky in that I had 8 books out that are all, similar themes. So
Yeah.
if you like one, you'll probably like the rest of them. So
Yes.
that's a good place to be in when something like this happens to you. It's not like Heated Rivalry was my first book and now I've got to write my second book. I think that
Yes.
would be terrifying.
Yes.
So there's enough work out there that people who have just learned about me can,
Hmm.
they can stay busy for a little while while
Yes,
I'm working
exactly.
out this book. So it's that's a blessing. I'm glad that is the case.
Is Unrivaled the last book in, you don't know, in Shane and
I don't
Ilya
want to say
series?
last. I don't want to say last. I thought The Long Game was the last book, so you never know. I try to write it, I try to write these books as if they could be the last book. So I do try to wrap things up, but you never know.
Do you have an ending in mind that you want to share? I'm just kidding. I know you don't want to share, but do you, as your process, do you know where these two characters are headed?
Yeah, I think I have in my head an idea of where they are, like, say, 10 years later. I'm not saying I'm going to get to that in this book, but, like, I have my own headcanon, I guess, about that. I know a lot of fans do, but I have my own, yeah.
As we think about the second season, there were reports today that it is going to be out in spring 27. Can you confirm that for us?
I can't confirm it, but that is what I'm hearing. That's
good.
all I know is that is what I believe to be true.
Okay, good. Well, wait, that's good because it's a long way away, but not so long that people are going to have to,
Yeah. You don't want to rush it,
No.
We want it to be good.
One of the things that has gone completely viral and has all the memes is the cottage. I couldn't even believe all over TikTok and everywhere. But what I think is actually profound about it is that it's become a metaphor for bravery, being yourself. Were you touched by all of that?
Yeah, I love the idea of it being like a safe space, a place where you can be yourself, where you can be loved and cared for, and just whatever that place is for you. And I hope everybody has that in their life because I think it's very important. But I know, like, with the books, the cottage section of the book is something that for years people have told me they like to reread just as a comfort read, just that part of the book. So people were kind of retreating to that part of the book already for comfort, and now I like that idea is spread wider. And it's a really lovely idea. It makes me happy.
Where is your metaphorical cottage?
I think I'm lucky enough that it's the house I live in with my family. I have 2 kids, my husband. We have a pretty good thing going here. Pretty supportive, very funny, we all get each other. So I think this is where I live is my cottage.
That's the luckiest, right?
Yeah, I think if you have that, that's as good as it gets.
I read somewhere that, and I'm always obsessed with writer's process and how you work. I read that sometimes you write in your kid's bedroom. Is that still true?
It's not true anymore because my kids, one of my kids is almost 16. It'd be weird. I was joking about that the other day when I had writer's block. I was like, maybe I should sit on your bed and write. Would that be weird?
Because that's where you used to write when they were little?
When they were very little, especially the first book, I wrote that on my iPad while I was waiting for them to go to sleep because they were kids that had to be fully 100% asleep before I could leave the room. If they were slightly still awake, we'd have to start the process all over again. And that went on for way too long. So I just started, sitting on the end of their bed, writing on this iPad. Very ergonomic. I would not recommend that at all. And that was how Game Changer came together. So it worked. That's why I think maybe I should try it again. But they wouldn't like that.
Can we do a quick rapid fire? Is that okay?
Sure.
This is stuff that we've seen on the internet. Okay, so the tuna melts, obviously big in the book, big, a nod in the series. But I hear that you find tuna melts disgusting. True or false?
True. I find canned tuna disgusting. I just can't.
So
I wish I picked something else.
Yeah, I'm like, what? You didn't know it was. Why did you write?
It seemed like something plausible that a hockey player could make.
That's true.
That's not a grunty sandwich.
That's true. I actually love all the things that they make. You know what I mean? Because it's like basic man food.
Yeah.
Okay. Does Scott Hunter know about the relationship?
I think on the show he does, not in the books. But the show version of him, I think, is clocking it.
You do. I thought that too because I was like, why is he kind of fighting with Shane?
Well, especially when he made that comment to Shane on the ice.
You sound like him
proof.
now.
Yeah, that was proof. I think.
Me too. I feel like I'm a detective. Is there? And I don't know why. I hate that I even have to ask you this, but is there a 7th surprise episode that's going to be dropped sometime?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. No.
Wait, that
I
doesn't
don't
sound
know.
like a no.
It's
That
a surprise for me. It's a surprise for
Okay.
me if there is.
Okay. What would you say Shane and Ilya's love language is?
Okay, who do I start with? I think, okay, so Shane's thing is like, it's very important to him that his loved ones are like safe and protected. And like, he really values like privacy and like, yeah, having that, like, the cottage is very important to him for a reason. And his time with his family. And now Ilya has brought into that, like, it's part of that circle. So I think just like his love language is like sharing his private life with, you know, a very select few people, and yeah, making sure that they feel like loved and protected in that space. That was complicated.
No, but I hear you.
For Ilya, it's like kind of like the way that he lets you know that he sees you and understands you. He does not do that for most people, but like he does do it when he wants to. And I think again, there's very few people that he does that for, but and it's why when he decides that you're worthy of that, that person feels you know, very special and very yeah, very loved. I think it's a nice, they're both kind of weird, subtle things, but I think that they're important.
Why do you think both the books and the show has resonated in such a wildly powerful way? And now?
I do think it's something that a lot of people needed right now. It's a very hopeful story. It's a very positive and joyful story. Nothing awful happens to the characters. Nobody's punished for being in love. It's just, yeah, it's really two guys who are getting in their own way in a lot of ways. And until they finally don't. And I think it's just, yeah, that joy around this queer romance is something that's so important and we don't see enough of. So I think, you know, that's a big part of it. And I also think that it pays so much respect to the romance genre, which is a very popular genre of books that doesn't get a ton of respect. So I think that too, there's like a couple different components that are coming together that yeah, are making it hit. I also just think it's just really good. Like the performances are great.
Yes.
I mean, you can't ignore this show. It's really different. There's not much to compare it to. I think it's just came out of the gates like a big, like, look at this. Like,
yes.
And everybody did. And it's great.
I read somewhere that you submitted, I think Game Changer, one of your books in secrecy. You didn't even tell your husband.
I did not.
That you submitted it. First of all, why? And what, like, if you could tell that Rachel something now, as you've witnessed this meteoric rise, what would you say?
Probably, like, don't be afraid to let other people read what you wrote, because, you know, it probably benefits from getting, you know, a second pair of eyes on it. I felt like I needed a professional editor to tell me if it was good or not first before I could let other people see it, really. And yeah, I think maybe just trust the people you love around you. Because for my other books, I did, you know, I started bouncing ideas off of him, off of friends, off of other writers. You know, it just was different. So I think it does feel a lot better when you do that.
And probably more joyful, right? And the whole purpose of these books is joy and love.
And you're going to get a better book.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy I got to meet you and spend some time with you. We're so happy for you. We can't wait for your next book. And I love the title too. I heard a friend kind of came to you or you were like, what do I title this? Unrivaled.
Yeah, my friend Melissa, big shout out, because I was overthinking it, trying to come up with a 2-word title, and she gave me that, and she's like, I'm going to say this gently. It should be called Unrivaled. And I was like, yes, it should.
It's so good. Well,
So
we can't
it's perfect.
wait for Unrivaled. We can't wait for season 2, and we're just so happy for you.
Thanks.
That people are falling in love with this world you've created and these characters.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.